Hi, everyone, and welcome to Quantum Acacias. My name is Dee Dee. You can also call me. You know what? I actually had, this was so funny. Like yesterday morning, after I did the paranormal experience yesterday, I'm not sure which order I'm going to actually be like uploading this in, but we were like talking about Nova, like because I was like, oh yeah, call me Nova, and then something in my mind was like, what is actually Va? Because do you want Nova? And then it was so funny because when I left the house, I saw on a license, literally, I saw on a license plate, Diva. I saw on a license plate Diva, and I was like, oh, okay, so not Nova, Diva. Which the D is the through. We want to go through the Va. We want to. Okay, I don't know. Dee Dee, and I think I'm good with Dee Dee probably. I don't know if I want you going around being like, it's diva. You know, diva has like a connotation to it. You know what I mean? Anyways, let me get into this story time. Okay, so I think I'm going to call this one, this was not necessarily a paranormal story time. So I'm not going to call it paranormal. I'm going to call it a astral adventure. Even though technically this is like one of those, this is kind of like an astral travel adventure when I was sleeping. So these like concepts are like, you know, different, but they're all like kind of on the scale of alternate forms of consciousness. So a lot of the time in the dream world, I am astrally traveling to places. It took me a while to figure that out. Some places I'm being summoned to, which we'll talk about that at a later date too. And then I've probably had like, you know, like the typical astral projection experience, like the textbook definition astral projection experience, probably like 3 times that I can think about. And none of those times have I been able to get myself out of body, which is interesting. The first time I was literally pulled out through my heart chakra, which I'll talk about that at a later date. And then the other 2 times I just was out of body. I have no clue how I got out. I just was out, but I had the full consciousness and realization and feeling and awareness like I do now of my physical body. And I think for me, the reason why it's so difficult for me to get out of body or even like lucid dream to the point to where like I'm controlling the dream. I think, you know, the first part of it is that I get a lot of information without having to control the dream. Like I'll just say something in my mind and the dream will start to respond. So I don't feel like, to a certain extent, that I feel like I need to control the dream. But then also because I just feel like this world is so crazy that it's hard when I see things in that world to be like, this is so crazy that it's got to be a dream. The whole thing feels like a dream. The whole thing feels like a dream. Do you know that? The whole thing feels like a dream, child. So it's really hard for me to be like, yeah, there's a talking dog, and that's crazy enough to be like, that's crazy enough to be like, this must be a dream. Because I mean, I didn't see a lot of things in this reality. Like, you know what I'm saying? About what and what, child. Let me get into the astral travel. So I'm gonna call this the astral travel experience. Okay, this is an astral travel experience. Now, this one I'm gonna get serious because it was a very serious event that happened after this, and I'm actually like writing a book right now. And one of my main characters, I was actually asking Meta about the etymology of the name of a main character in this book that I'm writing. And Meta, and I don't know if it's necessarily true or, well, I think that's kind of tricky because I feel like Meta gets information that might not be like that you can easily Google it and find it to be true. But I think that Meta is really on some stuff. So anyways, she let me know that she believes that one of the names of a character of mine in my book comes from an African Orisha. And when she told me the Orisha, who is Orunmila, it really clicked because I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense because the book that I'm writing is not necessarily focused on any particular African tradition, but it definitely has an African spirituality kind of backdrop to it. And it's not exactly a backdrop, but in this book, I'm not necessarily focused too much on the actual specific traditions, because it's a book that's, you know, without giving away too much of it, it's going to be going against a lot of the established traditions. And so anyways, that made me think about this astral travel experience. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to talk about that on the channel. And enough time has passed where I feel like it's not so new and touchy. And I'm primarily sharing this experience because I feel like a lot of the time in the dream world, we get inclinations towards things. And sometimes, like in this case, I was not able to kind of, get ahead of it and put some energy out there, as I was still figuring out the dream world, still figuring out the astrals and how to kind of navigate it. Whereas to now I'm a little bit better at it, but I believe that a lot of people who have really intense dreams, really lucid dreams, really vivid dreams, who are active in those other realms, sometimes you get information to be able to start changing what shows up in reality. And I feel like this is one of those times. Now, that's not the only thing, because sometimes it's like putting energy out to draw this into physical reality, and that goes to manifestations and things like that. But sometimes I feel like people get nudges about things to put energy towards it to start helping to mitigate certain things. Okay. So I'm trying to see how much discretion I want to do with this. I'll just start talking about it, and then we'll just kind of see how it feels going along. So, so on this particular day, I went to sleep, and unfortunately, I don't still have like the actual dream notes from that day. I like deleted all my notes from like before September 2022. That's a whole nother story. But it was actually after a possible ET experience. And I think that they were like, yeah, you need to delete all of this. And so I did. But that's a whole nother story for another day. But anyways, I don't have the specific dream notes. I don't remember exactly what was going on that day. But I do remember that it was just like a very eerie feeling in the air. I do remember that. So anyways, I went to sleep this day, and my dream was my astral experience was very, very strange. So it started off with me going to like this family home. Okay. And this family home was a home that I grew up in. It wasn't my primary house, but we used to go over to this home. Okay. I'm using discretion because of course this is my family. So I'm just trying to use a little bit of discretion. Okay. So anyways, this family home, and this family home usually, like, not as much recently, but definitely in 2022, like up to 2022, it would show up in different ways. So it was kind of like there's like 3 different family homes that I usually see in the dream world. And this is one of those. And this particular home for me in my childhood represented like a kind of relief, a kind of really fun time. Like it kind of represented like a place most of my childhood where I felt like I could be a child. And so in this home, it was interesting because there were so many people in the home that I didn't know. And it was almost like they were funneling up this staircase that was not in this home. So it was like there's a staircase. Actually, it was kind of split, actually. So there was like the ground level of the house was like the middle floor. And then they had a staircase that went upstairs, and then they had a staircase that went downstairs. Okay. Now, the upstairs and the downstairs areas were kind of like places that most people can't go. So, like, the middle floor is kind of like the floors that you could walk on in a mall. And then the upper staircase and lower staircase were kind of like the personnel places that a lot of people couldn't go, right? Now, this is my family home, so I had access to all different places, even the places that most people typically can't go, okay, unless you're personnel, in this kind of case, personnel or staff, right? But like I said, this is my family home, so I had access to all these, different levels. So all of the people were like funneling into the middle, okay? And actually, now that I think about it, it kind of actually was set up kind of like a mall, now that I think about it. So anyways, everybody was like funneling into the middle, and it was almost like there was something coming that they were trying to run away from. So it was very much like a stampede. Now, in general, how my mind works, I am not usually a person that likes to like go into the middle of, something and like fight my way through it. Like that's just not really my stilo, you know what I mean? And so I was like, you know what, instead of like doing that, I'm just gonna see if there's a different method, because I'm feeling all this tension, I'm feeling all this anxiety, I'm not sure where it's coming from, and everyone that's feeling that is going this direction. So I probably need to go in a different direction, especially to kind of separate the feelings and figure out what's going on. So anyway, so I decided to go to the lower stairs. In my mind, I heard the lower world, which is probably super accurate. So I go down the stairs, and that leads to this very much mall-like place, okay? And it was definitely like a food court kind of place. And I remember that there are many different restaurants. So there was definitely a Chinese restaurant, like there was like a sushi kitchen. There was like some like soul food stuff or whatever. But there was one place that I was really more focused on going because there was another exit there. And this place was almost like it was like a pirate restaurant. That's what I remember. There was like this, and it had like a huge display. Like the other places, like you have like a counter, you have your banner and stuff, and that's kind of like your decorative thing. Well, this one, even the stairs, I think even had like a dropping down to the deck. And it was definitely like a pirate kind of theme. So they had this big, huge pirate kind of sign. The tables and chairs were definitely piratey and stuff like that. And I remember seeing that there were a whole bunch of men over there. That's what I remember. I don't remember seeing not one woman. And like I said, they got this spot that was very close to the exit on the lower part, and even they were actually a little bit lower than the lower part. So it was almost like those big old houses where they had like the step down den. It was almost like that. So they were even like a little bit lower than the low part, and it was almost like they were like ducked off, but obviously it was very, very what's the word, decorated. So if you're paying attention, I mean, it was very obvious that they were there. Anyways, it was a lot of men. So there were two men there that I saw specifically, and I'm going to mention what I think that one of them was connected to, because I feel like this is connected in general, obviously, to everything. Even though there are two different African systems. Now, one of the guys that I remember, he showed up in a different dream a while ago. And in that dream, he was associated to La Sarene. Okay, so La Sarene, I'm pretty sure, is in the voodoo tradition, voodoo pantheon. Whereas Orunmila is a part of the Yoruba pantheon. But anyways, I saw him connected to La Sarene, but I'm sure in the voodoo pantheon, they probably have like a comparable water spirit, I'm sure. Wait, hold on, La Sarene, yeah, it would be, I mean, maybe it'd be like Oshun or Yamaya or something like that. But anyways, so they were staring, and I was like really uncomfortable. I was like, I felt like they were having like some kind of secret meeting or something like that. So I'm like, what's going on here? And I was kind of just trying to be like, don't worry about me, don't worry about me. I'm always like trying to get away from eyes, and not because like I'm trying to hide anything or anything like that. Just like, just kind of just trying to cruise along here, and you start interacting with people sometimes, depending on what type of stuff they're on, people can like, bring you into like a whole lot of foolishness and shenanigans. I'm just not about that. I feel like that's like a young person's game. It's like a young spirit's game. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm old, and, I'm just trying to, chill. A lot of people not on chill stuff. They're not on chill stuff. And these people didn't look like they were on chill stuff. It looked like a secret man meeting. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go on to this exit. Just carry on whatever you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, but carry on. So anyways, I tried to go to the exit, and the door was locked. And I was like, how is there a door? like here that I can't get through? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, how is that possible? And so I was like, okay, am I going to like cause a scene and try to knock down this door? And I wanted to see kind of how they were reacting, because I'm like, did they lock the door? Like, is there a place in this place that I can't get to because they are owning it or something? Like, how did we get here? So I started to become more curious. I was like, So what ended up happening was that there was another door next to it, and for some reason I thought that door was going to be the same as the other door, which it was not. So that door I did not get into, but I got into this other door, and that other door led me right back up to the top where everybody was fighting. So it was kind of like a reset door. So I was like, fascinating. So in my mind, even though now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, probably if I was feeling more curious that day, which I wasn't really feeling that curious that day, but I probably would have gone back down to the bottom and then, actually just started interacting, being like, why is this door locked? But instead I was like, okay, well, let me try the upper deck. And when I went to the upper deck, it actually let me outside. And when I got outside, this place that looked like my family home was actually in a library somewhere in Atlanta. Yeah, it was definitely in Atlanta. And I was trying to get the name of the library in the street. Sometimes in the Astrals, like, it's easy to kind of walk up to something and get the name. A lot of the time, though, it's not that easy to do. So I was trying to walk up, to like, it had like this big old gray stone kind of block, which actually, now that I think about it, it looks like, like tombstone rocks that we use. I forgot what we call them, but it's definitely kind of in that form now that I think about it. But it was like this kind of big gray slab with the name of the library on it. And the library was like this kind of dark brick. And I've got kids in the background. You could probably hear them fussing right now. I'll see if I can take that out. If I can't, sorry. Hopefully you can hear mostly me and not the kids fussing. But anyways, so yeah, it was like this kind of dark brown, building. And I also noticed that the building had a very particular shape to it. I almost feel like it was a hexagon shape. Like it was in the shape of like like esoterically kind of hold on, I'm just seeing, okay. Esoterically, like in the shape of like a hexagon, like a beehive kind of, now that I think about it. And it wasn't outwardly obvious, but eventually, as I was standing on the ground, I started to see that there was like a commotion now that was going on the street with the cars. So this library was right off of a main street, and I ended up walking from the front door because I saw Ray out there. I ended up walking from the front door to the edge of the street, and there started to be a commotion on the street with cars. And I don't know if it was like somebody was cutting somebody off or something, but it started to be a commotion outside. So I was like, okay, let me go over here and see what's going on. And so when I went over there to see what was going on, as the commotion was going on, I noticed that there was like this crazy overcast of clouds over the area, like over the whole area, over the library, over these cars and everything like that. And I started to think, like, are the clouds causing this commotion? Because you could also see like where there was obviously the clouds were not over a certain area of the city. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when you're looking out at the clouds, there was like a obvious like demarcation of where the clouds were not over the whole city. And it was very like thick, dense clouds too. Like this was not just like sparing clouds. It was literally like there was a cloud overcast, and it was cloud like one big, huge, thick, dense cloud mass over this area. And I was like, yo, what's going on? So I literally said that out loud. I was like, what is going on? Because it felt very real, and it was real because it's the Astrals. And I was like, what is going on right now? I'm like, there's commotion over here. There's commotion over here. Like, what is up? I'm like, there's places I can't get here. What is going on? So as I'm saying this, and I'm very disgruntled because at this point, I'm like, what's going on? There's like this little part that starts to open. I kid you not, like in my mind, because again, like sometimes you don't realize that you're like in the astral, so you're like, yo, is reality doing something different now? So this little part starts to open up. So this was not like the clouds moved and then like it uncovered the sun and rays started to come out. Okay, this literally was like the clouds started to pull apart at this certain part. Now it wasn't directly over me; it was a little bit in front of me, and they started to open up, and rays started to come out. And so I'm like, yo, what's going on with the sun and the clouds right now? And as it was opening up, some type of way, I immediately was above the cloud thing, like the cloud cast. And I was like immersed in the clouds. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, now what's going on? So as I'm like kind of orienting myself, because I was disoriented, because I was just in body. And now like I'm in the astrals, in another part of the astrals, or having out of body experience in that. I don't know. But as I was up there, there's like this booming kind of male voice, and he was talking to me, and as soon as he started talking, I remembered him. Like, and like even now, like I can't place exactly like who he is or in his entirety, and I'll finish talking about this and it'll make sense. Like as of now, like I know that I've not heard that voice like in a long time, and even when I heard him, it was like a friend that you haven't heard in a very long time, but you remember them instantly when you hear them. And so he started talking to me, and we immediately like fell into a rhythm with each other. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going on because there's four Oloruns, okay, four of them. And they represent four aspects, four directions, 4 points of the sky. And we had found 3 of them. So it was almost like I was down on this earth or something like that, like in that astrals at that moment where I was at that place because we were trying to find the 4 Oloruns. Okay, I know that they say there's Olorun, which I'm gonna read that to you guys right quick so we're on the same page. Orun. Yeah. Okay. Orun is is the ruler of or in the heavens in the Yoruba religion, the supreme deity or supreme being in the Yoruba pantheon. Oh wow, that's crazy, because they have like this is wild. Yo, this is crazy. I just want you to know that like I am not a part of the Yoruba tradition. I've heard, certain, deities, stuff like that. I've heard some of, I've had certain experiences with some of them, but I am not like an avid studier of this. I just want to say that of any of the African traditions, of any traditions in general, a lot of the stuff that I get is through astral experiences and communicating with people. And like, I'm looking at Oloruns, and yo, this is crazy. The global symbol of Acacias, maybe it's Acacias, is like literally 4 directions, and it's like the cross, which actually looks like the Celtic cross. And actually I've been drawing this symbol as the dharmic wheel like this week. It's a little bit different because there's like 4 extra points, so not just the 4 directions but the other 4 directions, south, east, southwest, and things like that. And I've been drawing it as the dharma wheel, which actually does look like the wheel of a ship. So that's wild because this is literally what I saw like in the dream. And it was like there's 4 Oloruns. Okay, there's 4 of them, and we have found 3 of them. And it was like there was some type of big schism, right? Because that like the cross is the crossroads. 4, I mean, when you do it like a circle, it's 4 triangles coming together to make the crossroads. But then when you're on the matrix plane, it's 4 squares coming together, which is still 2 triangles, but it's a little bit different. It's 4 squares. So at the meeting point of 4 squares is the crossroads. And so each Olorun was a part of a certain quadrant of the sky. So we're not just talking about Earth skies. We're talking about like, quantum, but we're talking about cosmic skies. And one of the pieces of this cosmic sky, like where that intersection was over Earth. So do you understand what I'm saying? So it was like at that point in the sky where the fourth one was missing, that intersection was over Earth. So we probably wouldn't have felt it like if it was over in the Sagittarius constellation or something like that, if the crossroad was over there. So what I'm also guessing now that I think about it is that probably the crossroads for them in general, where these four quadrants of the cosmos meet, is over Earth. And so when one is missing, Earth feels it really strongly because they are the center of the cosmic crossroads. I hope that makes sense. That's actually really powerful and really deep now that I think about it. So anyways, this god, who I guess could have been Olodumare, maybe. I'm not going to say that for certain because I'm not exactly sure. And when he was talking to me, I knew him. So I didn't think to be like, what's your name again? Because I knew him. It's like the same as like when I'm talking to like my kids. And I think about this sometimes of like, like when I do regression therapy and people are going back to like a specific memory and like they're just talking. And I'm like, if my future self or my reincarnated self in the next lifetime is tapping back in right now, sometimes I will say my name just so like they know like, yeah, my name is Gigi. Because, I'm just like talking to my kids, but I'm not always saying their name when I'm talking to them because I know them. And that's kind of like the same concept like with babies, and I've learned that because I've got 5. I've got a lot of babies, child. But it took us a while to realize like when we're talking to them, I need to tell him my name because there's such a familiarity that he doesn't think to call me something. He doesn't think to call me mom because I'm here and we know each other. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I had to like be like, no, like I need to be like, I'm mom and you're Phoenix. I'm Mama and you are Phoenix, because his teachers were like, I don't know if he's slow in developing talking and stuff, but he's not really saying many words. And I'm like, because he has everything. So he doesn't, really need to say words because, in a lot of ways we talk through actions, we talk through energy. And so he probably just doesn't find it necessary to say words, like you just say, and people are bringing you food and drink, so you don't need to necessarily learn at that point, like, no, I want milk. You're just like, and they get it for you because they know what you mean. Do you know? Anyways, it was, we had to look for the fourth Olorun because the balance was off and we had to go find him. So literally this sky daddy he was a sky daddy. It was definitely a daddy feeling, even though I was like, it seems like a friend. It was definitely like a friendly type of vibe. Like we were on some family type of energy, but this was definitely a dad energy, 1,000%. And he was like, yeah, I need you to go find the fourth Olorun, which maybe it's going to be coming up again. And that's why I'm talking about it. Cause since then that was in, back when I have the door closed, I've said this a lot of times. When I have the door closed, that means that I don't want you to just walk in, especially not without knocking. Okay, and I need you to go sit down. I'm almost done. Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm actively recording right now as you're talking to me. Thank you. Okay, kids, child. Children. Okay, but they're back in school next week and I'm being, child. I did not think at some point I would be happy for school and not that happy about summer vacation. Like, I get it now. As the parent, I get it now. I'm like, why do they want us in school all the time? Like, adults need a break. Okay, but anyways, I love my kids. They're really good kids. But anyway, so this guy daddy, he definitely was like, go get the fourth Olorun. I'm like, how do I even find him? And he was like, you'll find him and we need him, so bring him back fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where he is. I'm like, and when I was talking to him, I was like, do you know how many, like literally I remember this and it was so funny. I'm like, do you know how many forms he can take on? How am I supposed to find him? Like how? Like sketch it out for me, okay? Because how? Oh, I just saw a sparkler. How am I supposed to? But anyways, maybe it's gonna be coming up again soon, and I'll have like this fun update to be like, I found the fourth Olarun. So, anyways, it happened around this very interesting event that ended up happening with two major celebrities, and unfortunately, there was a stampede at this music event, and unfortunately a few people ended up passing away during that event. That's probably as much I would say about that. And hopefully I'll be able to come back and give an update that we found the fourth Olarun. Hopefully we'll be able to say that soon, and hopefully it'll change some things in the atmosphere. Because a sky astral deity, they could take on a lot of different forms, and they got a lot of space to do it. So yeah, that was my experience. Please let me know in the comment section below if you have had a similar experience. Have you heard of four Oloruns? Because I actually tried to ask some Babalawos, like just on YouTube, like, have you heard of a fourth Olarun and four Olaruns? And nobody had really heard of it, and I do want to say this too, and like, I love interpretation, so if you feel like it's a symbolic aspect of the dream, I definitely would love to hear that, especially if you want to email me about it and stuff like that, and we can go back and forth and talk about it. But I am gonna say that I don't want it to like come off as like super stern and like, she's unwavering and like, she's not going to take this into consideration. I definitely do. And I do believe that there are symbolic aspects, but I've been dealing with myself enough in the dream world and the astrals and how it plays out in reality to know that a lot of the time, of course, the dreams and astrals and experiences that we have many different layers to it. But mine usually are not just symbolic. Like at the same time that there's four Oloruns, and then you have like the four quadrants literally in the symbol of Asheshe. I don't know. Is it Asheshe? That's like what I heard. At the same time that this is symbolic maybe of like the four directions and things like that, and maybe the four directions of Olorun. When I was talking to this sky daddy up there, it was definitely also for counterpart Oloruns as well. So I just want to say that because a lot of my experiences are like that, and I've been dealing with them enough to know that like usually there are metaphysical, symbolic, and tangible realities. So mind, body, and spirit, they all are in sync. So it is usually like exactly what it says in the dream, and then I have to like figure out what it's talking about. Like the latest one that I've had, which is talking about 4-2. I'm almost done. Just give me like 5 minutes. Okay. So like the latest one that I've had is like this dream about like the three wise men, and then I ended up finding out in this dream I was actually talking to myself, and myself was teaching me. Now this was outside of myself, so I was literally looking at myself in a moving car, and we were talking to each other, and she was like, there is the mysteries of the three wise men. There are three wise men, and there's actually a fourth one, and the fourth one's name is Luke. And I know that the story of the three wise men is also in the book of Luke, but there's also something very specific about a fourth component to the wise men that connects to the name Luke as well, which Luke to me connects to wolves. So there might be some type of connection with the three wise men and wolves or something like that. I haven't really looked too deep into that one yet, because every day is like an adventure into Wonderland. And so some things like, but I need to get back to the three wise men stuff because that's like a whole nother situation. But let me just see what the etymology of Luke is. I mean, I'm thinking about like Lupercalia and Luca. I'm pretty sure that has to do it. Okay. The name Luke means light, light giving, which is derived from the Greek name locus. Oh, like a locust in the Bible. Interesting. Let me see if they give a different etymology of this name. derived from Latin Lucus. Oh, Lucania, located in southern Italy, hence the reference in the name. Oh, kind of like Lucia. Okay. Okay, so they talk about Latin, so let's see what so translated as simply from Lucania. Lucas pays homage to the 5th century Lucanian tribe who once dominated the now modern region of Basilicata. Okay, like basilicas. Okay. I just want to see because I'm thinking about it, and maybe this is also relevant if you're listening to it too. Maybe it's also relevant. Yeah, Lucania. Because I was actually just talking about Italy connected to Lilith yesterday, and Sylvanus. Lucania. Origin, history, or something like that. Let's see. The district of Lucania was also called from the people bearing the name Lucani, by whom it was conquered about the middle of the 5th century BC. Before that period, it was included under the general name of Oinatria, which was applied by the Greeks to the southern portion of Italy. Ancient division of southern Italy corresponding to most of the modern day region of that. Some say it derived from the Lyci, a tribe who settled in the region between 1200 and 1300 BC. Okay, I'm gonna look up one thing and then I'm gonna get on up out of here, okay? Let me just see if there is a connection between Lyci tribe and Magi. Lyci, or maybe I'll say Lucani tribe. Lucani tribe and the Magi. Okay, and what does this say? Okay, is this Google? Oh, this is Yahoo. Let me look up Google. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't like YouTube search engine, child. Okay. I'm doing the most. Lucani tribe and the Magi. Let's put that in. Let's see. Because you never know, child. Magic and the Roman Empire. See where they're mentioned together. Tribe mentioned together. Okay. Were related to the Samnitai. Had also by that time, forgotten tribe of Naphtali and the Phoenicians. Let's see. We're gonna have to, sign in for it. Okay. Oh, somebody's calling. Okay. Okay. Girl, I'm not about to do all this, child. Public. Okay. I have not published any of those. I have not. Now they doing the most. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Oh, look, they let you download it too. Okay. I'm using Academia. So, Lucani tribe. Oh, they've mentioned it quite a few times. Okay. Lucani tribe. Okay, and then Magi. Let's see. And this is page. Oh. Okay. I'm going to kind of look through it, and then if you're also interested in it, I can kind of send you this download because I'm sure that it's also relevant to certain stuff. But anyways, you guys, sorry, I'm like going through a whole thing. Oh my gosh, I only have 30 minutes left. I've been like, I'm not going to do anything past 12 o'clock. I've got to take a break. I love researching, getting information, and then sharing it and stuff like that. Okay, you guys. I hope that was insightful. I'm sending you lots of hugs, lots of love. And yeah, I'll be back with some more videos. So make sure that you do subscribe and come back. And I'm going to try to keep the researching to a minimum. Okay. All right. Bye.